guys, welcome back to Eagle Express. On the road again. Doesn't happen very often these days. People don't want to pay. The economy is where it is. Trucking market is where it is. So we're dealing with what we have, and you know, it's still better than most other countries have, and what other people are dealing with as far as getting laid off and losing their jobs and getting their hours cut and all the other things that we're currently dealing with in 2023 at the end of the year. And my most common question is, I get emails, I get phone calls, I get comments on the YouTube videos. Is this a good time? It's kind of a constant question, and I've put out a special video about it to explain, is it a good time? Who is it a good time for? And things like that. Is it a good time to get into the van business? Should we wait a little longer? Should we do this? Should we do that? You know, when things start getting bad, and in the springtime of this year of 2023, things were turning for the worst. And in the summertime, the way things were, they didn't really pick up. It was still cheap and slow, you know, and we're still dealing with the same exact issue. Market never recovered, and it's the end of 24, so a whole year in expediting. I don't know, the whole trucking business has been in a slump for the big trucks. I'm talking about semi-trucks. That has been in a slump for the last 2 years now, and the projection for 2024 is, it's not my projection. It's watching other bigger companies, you know, other businessmen, other people who follow the economy, you know, investors and things like that. Their projections, I'm not saying they're 100% right. I'm just saying what I have heard, just kind of transferring over and preparing for that. The word is 2024 is not going to get any better than 23. It might actually even get worse. So for you guys that ask that same question over and over and over again, it's not the same people asking it, but it's the general public wanting to know, hey, is it a good time? Should I invest? Should I not? And my answer still remains the same. There's a lot of people out there that haven't seen the country. They're either on the verge of retirement, or they're doing okay with their money, or they can sell something that they don't use, like a vehicle, a truck, an extra home, you know, things like that, and where they can buy a vehicle for cash and it can afford the insurance. Those kind of people, they don't care about how good or how bad things really are. As long as they get by, get enough loads to cover their fuel and their expenses, and, you know, leisure travel money that they use to, you know, get a hotel somewhere cool once in a while, or, you know, or go visit places and take time off and, you know, vacation around. For those kind of people, yes, you can definitely get into this business, because if 2024 by projections is not going to get any better, then guess what? Who knows when 25 will get better, and how long it's going to pick up the pace, pick up that momentum to get better. Maybe slowly, and maybe it'll take another year, but we don't know. Maybe we're living in the best times that this industry will ever be in right now. And those of you that ask, hey, is next year going to get better? We don't know. Maybe it'll get worse, but you're going to miss out today. Today still makes money to people. It still does. It's just not for everybody. As far as if you're putting everything you have and investing everything you have into this, it's not for you. I would say it's not, because you're going to be really worried about getting your money back, gaining as much as you can from the business. And everybody knows that right now, the whole trucking, the whole transportation industry is not doing hot. The rates are low. Freight is, you know, freight is hard to get. Cheap loads are out there, and people are taking cheap loads. You try to avoid them for as much as you can, but then you just end up, people just end up getting it anyways, just to get moving, because it's either time to go home already, or it's, you know, you got to make something to make your van payment, make your insurance payment, and everything else. So the reason I say that is because this job has big expenses. It has operating costs that are not cheap. Even if you buy a van for cash, you still have to worry about fueling because, you know, in a Sprinter van, it's almost $100 to fill up right now on the West Coast. If you're in Texas or in southern states, it's cheaper out there. You could be in the 70s. But either way, it's expensive to fill up. Maintenance all around, no matter what kind of vehicle you have, is going to be expensive if you don't do it yourself. If you don't do your own oil change, and if you don't do your own basic things like a tire rotation and, you know, other little things that could be something happening with your van, some little things. That way, if your check engine light comes on, you don't have to stop your operations for half a week just to try to figure out, schedule an appointment to a shop, try to figure out why the light came on. You know, all that cuts into all your money-making abilities, so you got to watch out for that. You got to kind of be, you know, can't just be taking the vehicle to the dealership and paying that money that you haven't even made yet. It just doesn't make any sense. So you got to be a little more savvy. You got to be a little more, you know, self-involved in all these things, and try to get as much done yourself as possible to avoid paying somebody else for something that you can actually figure out on your own, or at least check on your own. You know, many times we'll end up with our driver saying, "Hey man, put me out of service because my check engine just came on." Well, I'll tell you this, guys, I had a check engine light in all three of the vans in this current one too. It comes on and off, and I check it once in a while, I clear it once in a while, but you know, if it's something that's not a major problem, you can keep running with that check engine light. But you have to be able to go and check on your own. And to check on your own is it's a basic thing. You go take it to AutoZone if you don't have your own scanner and just scan it and see what the problem is. Google that problem, find out what that code means. And if it's nothing serious, nothing that's going to create engine damage or, you know, for your performance as far as you driving, then you're good to go. You can keep trucking and fix it later on whenever you get a chance, or just keep driving with it. If it's an O2 sensor, like an oxygen sensor, you can keep driving with it for the life of your vehicle if you really want to. You seriously can, because it's not a major problem. And usually that's what it is. When it comes on, it's something stupid, something small, some kind of a sensor. As long as your vehicle starts, as long as you're, you know, you have power, it's not in limp mode, you're okay. Even if you are in limp mode, you can still get a scanner, clear those codes yourself, and keep going. And I always suggest having at least a cheap $20, $30 Walmart scanner to be able to scan your codes on your own, so that way you're not scared. Don't be scared of a check engine light. If your vehicle is not making any engine noises that are catastrophic, as long as it's not in limp mode means it doesn't go like more than 45 miles an hour and it gains speed the way it needs to gain speed, then you're good. Otherwise, you do need to check. So the point is it a good time? It's a good time for somebody, and it's not a good time for somebody else. You can't tell everybody that it's a good time, and you can't tell everybody that it's not a good time, because for some people it might be the best time of their life. For some people it might not be the best time of your life. If you have a growing family, if you're expecting children, if your wife is pregnant and you want to hurry up and make some money, well, you guys gotta understand that your wife's got to be on board too, or your girlfriend, or whoever else you have. If it's a family thing, then you guys got to both be on the same page, because she needs you there. She needs you there. Not every woman is like my woman, and thank God that she was like that, because she's self-efficient. You know what I mean? She was born in a big family, and thank God that she can, you know, she can work and she could do everything that she needs to do, and she didn't need me home. That way I could be out there on the road showing you guys how to do this and still be able to provide myself for the family. So you guys have to figure out what it is, because some people do get on the road, they have an understanding that, hey, everything is going to be good and we're going to be fine and it's going to work out. But once the driver gets on the road and he sees that he's got to be out there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes he's out there more because he can't, you know, find a load home. You got to be prepared for that, and your family has to be prepared for that too. This job is definitely not for the people that want to make money and sleep at home every day, every other day, or be home every single weekend. It's just, if you want to do that, then you're in the wrong business. Don't even try it. If you are the type of person who wants to constantly be home, you got to understand, you're going to put on a lot of empty miles going home, because the loads are hard to get still, and when driver only looks one way, you're cutting out 90% of all the potential business, and you only have a little straight, thin, little narrow pathway to where you're only looking one direction. Dispatch is only looking one way, towards home for you. And that's what sucks. That's what causes you big problems, because you're not making any money going somewhere else. All you're wanting to do is just go home, and that's it. And then driver sits a day, 2 days if there's no load going home, 3 days, and after that he's already wasted 3 days. Could have cleared 3,000 miles and made a bunch of money. Now he's okay with going everywhere else, and now it's the end of the week, and now things are a little bit, you know, more competitive out there. So you guys got to understand that going home is not a problem. You could always fly home. You could always make enough money and then drive home empty. But the main thing is you can always park your vehicle and just drive or fly home, come back, jump in it when you're ready to go, and you're ready to go. So the main part is make enough money to where you can actually afford to go home. Not just because you've created some plans, or you got a birthday, or your children, or family things, and so on. You know, those kind of emergencies, we all understand that too. And you guys got to understand that, hey, go out there. This is just my suggestion. Go out there, run hard, run strong, make as much money as you can, and you will be able to afford to leave your vehicle at the airport and fly home, and then fly back when you're ready to go back to work, jump in it, and keep going. Some of you live in areas where it's tough to get out from home, like Florida and other states where it's tougher to get out. So you're wasting this fuel money that it's almost the same thing as flying somewhere, you know what I mean? Hopefully you guys understand. In the end, yes, it's for somebody, and no, it's not. If you're investing everything into it, the market's still down. The rates are still down. Insurance is high. Maintenance, you know, to work on any kind of vehicle is still expensive. Everything is like blowing against us, against the trucking world, against the transportation world. And it doesn't matter if you're expediting, if you're trucking, if you're doing hot shots, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. The strong wind is still blowing against us. It's really hard to, you know, do really good in it. You can still live comfortably doing this. As long as you have the patience, and as long as you have family that can understand that you being away from home is part of the job. If you and your family understands that, then you'll be okay. If you're out there, you know, constantly texting dispatch, hey, got anything for me? Got anything for me? How's it going? How's it going? Well, you're already winding yourself up. You can't do that. You're going to burn yourself out really quick in this job. You got to be patient. We are working. Dispatch is working. Dispatchers are not making any money if you're not loaded. So you guys have to understand that, say, in our company, our dispatch does not get paid hourly. We only get paid when we load you. So dispatch works off of percentages due to how many loads they get. So you have to understand that we all try to make money. Everybody tries. We get burned out too sometimes. Some days are harder. Some days are a little easier. But it's never easy. It's never just cake, and you know, we're sitting there eating ice cream and giggling around and you know, that kind of stuff. It's still all work, just like you guys. It's how life is. It's how life is. And right now, during the hard times, this is just part of what we're dealing with, you know. Competitive rates. Gotta have a competitive rate to the broker. We gotta put our, you know, our name is good. So far, so good. You know, when somebody sees us bidding on a load, it's not like they're turning their head away from us and saying, oh, no, we don't want to have nothing to do with them. Or, oh, we'll only give them a load only when we got no other options. It's not how it is right now. We're in good standing with everybody. We provide the best service that we can, and we thank you drivers for doing that as well, because you are the face of the company, and in the end and in the beginning, you are the ones who these shippers and receivers see, so you present the company. So I thank you guys, really, I really do, because without you, we wouldn't be where we're at, and without us, you guys wouldn't be where you're at either. So it's all a combined effort, and I thank God for each and every one of you guys, because we have a great team, we have great drivers, we have a good family going, and I call every driver part of the family, because we really try to work. I know it's work, I know it's business, and I know how it is sitting in the van waiting for a load, so our dispatch understands everything. Don't think that, you know, we don't care. You know, 5 o'clock hits and we're scattered and gone. Every single dispatcher knows how it feels for a driver to be sitting without a load, and they have the motivation. Like I said, it's not an hourly pay, so we all have the motivation to get a load and keep a driver moving versus not moving. So I hope that gives you guys an answer. I know it's not a black and white, concrete yes or no. It's because everybody's situation is different, as far as driver, as far as their financials, as far as their family, as far as them on their own. And some drivers try this and then they just figure out it's not for them. You know, sitting in a van, doing this as a van life, it's not for everybody. Some people get burned out really quick because they don't have the patience to sit and wait for a load, and that's just what you got to do. You got to take all the positive out of this, only the positive. Don't focus on the negatives, and you guys will be blessed. You'll make enough money, and things will be all good. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you guys. We'll see each other on the next one.